Have you ever felt like you're your own soldier, a part of your own solo army? And everywhere you go, you see shadow snipers, you see all types of hostile forces all around you. You can even have hostile forces that invade your mind. They're like psychic parasites that go inside your mind and they tell you what you can and can't do. Then you have people in your real life, you know, who see you in a certain light. They see you in a certain way. They want to feel like you're beneath them and they're above you because they may have, a job, or they may have some type of credentials or other type of thing that's essential to validation of a society that makes its power on materialistic objects. So when you don't have these things, when you don't have a car, when you're not married, when you don't have children, these people like to look at you like you're the failure or there's something wrong with you. When in reality, you just were never given a chance. And not only that, we live in a hell realm. We live in a world where it seems pain, agony, and misery seems to be the default. Have you noticed how hard it is to build something and how quickly it can be snatched from you and taken away? Have you ever really tried to build something or ever really thought about something, ever worked up the courage to try to go talk to this girl that, you've seen her in your class and you like her, but you haven't really said anything to her? And then one day, you know, you work up enough confidence, you get the nerve to go up to her and say hi. And then the minute you do that, you see the frown in her face and she's like, ew, you know what I mean? And you know how girls are nowadays where they don't give a damn about morality. They're just going to see you. And if you don't match the looks that they want and the looks that they approve, they're going to they're going to just be very disrespectful towards you. And it's absolutely brutal. But you worked up that confidence. It wasn't something you just gained immediately. And when you finally went up to that person and tried to talk to her, she takes away all your confidence in seconds. That's one thing about this world, is that it's very difficult to try to find peace and tranquility. In this world, it's like it's hard. They tell you you have to, if you want a house, it takes about 30, 40 years so you can own your house. Why would it take 30 or 40 years? Most people don't have that much time to even live. We don't even know if we're going to be alive tomorrow, the next day, or next week, or next year. We don't know, or the next second. So why would it take 30 to 40 years for you to get like a house or some type of form of security, when in 1 second you spent 30, 40 years for that house, but let a house fire come. The whole house is gone within 5 minutes, burned down to the ground. And plus the materials that they utilize nowadays are more combustible than the materials they utilized back in the past days, meaning that they make houses out of cheaper materials nowadays, but they charge you, an arm and a leg. They charge you a premium. They charge you more money than they did back in the days. Whereas in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, the houses were built with more sturdy material and they were cheaper. So there's somebody pulling the strings from the shadow, you know. From the shadows, there's somebody pulling the strings, making sure that our lives are miserable, making sure that our lives are not happy, making sure that we go through certain things in life that is just going to drive misery, pain, and confusion. There's no way that in America, a country of abundance, supposedly, that you have people starving, people with no food, people that refuse to come together. We still have racial tensions because things like that is taught in the home, point blank period. It's taught in the home and it gets passed down. And it's just brutal because you see that there's people behind that, people that are above that control the whole system. Money is the chains that control the souls of the people, is money. You need money for everything. But when you're a guy that's in our position, kind of rejected and ejected by the normies and the NPCs, and people still look at you as you're the main character. They don't like you. They call you a loser, but yet they monitor you. They watch you. They always talking about you. They're always mentioning you. They haven't dealt with their own insecurities. They haven't looked in the mirror and seen their own devilish, selfish reflections. But they want to try to call you something that you're really not. I met some of the most coolest people in this community. Some of these people are the most talented, coolest, nicest people you'll ever meet. And of course, in this community, when you're somebody that's real and you speak from your heart, your soul with passion and enthusiasm, you're going to attract trolls and people that just get obsessed with you like they get obsessed with a girl. Now I see why a lot of girls don't like guys who are not really attractive. Like I get it. Like when I got doxxed and now I'm homeless, I get why girls treat certain guys a certain way. I get it because a lot of these guys, they deserve to be in the positions that they're in. When you sit online all day and stalk another grown man and get his name and get this and try to pretend him and get him kicked out and you think it's funny and it's entertainment, you're like, imagine telling a girl that. Go try to tell a girl, oh yeah, I got this one guy on the internet who I didn't even know. I got him kicked out and doxxed. And yeah, is that cool? She gonna look at you like this guy's a freaking loser. I don't want nothing to do with somebody like that. And these are the same people that also have discrimination issues as well. These are not good people. People who dox people are the scum of the earth. These are the people that will never be nothing in life, will never amount to nothing in life, but they'll sit online and watch your life and try to talk about it when you're just a regular person talking about your life. There's millions of YouTubers and people out there. So why would somebody be hyperfixated on me? It makes no sense. But it goes to show you that I must have something rare and valuable, because if I didn't, these people wouldn't be on you like that. And in this world, if you're really a loser and a failure, people are not going to keep on saying that and saying that and saying that. A lot of shit is just projection. When somebody keeps calling you a loser and a failure and this, well, look at their lives. These people are down bad. These people are, you got people in their 40s, people in their 50s, people in their 60s, people in their 30s and up who try to talk bad about people, but then they don't have the best job themselves, and then they still go around asking certain people for money and shit like that, where it's absolutely brutal. But they'll call you a loser, call you a failure. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. But you have to understand that when you're somebody that's talented and gifted and you're not meant for a normal 9 to 5 job, you're not meant for a normal life. You're meant for something greater and bigger. You have a bigger goal in your life. But if you don't have the right people around you, it's going to be extremely difficult when people just look at you and say, oh, you don't have a job, you're a loser. They don't know that you've been practicing in your room making anime music, maybe a theme song. You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody who was telling me they went to Japan, and for a couple of these little low key animes, they had him write the theme song, like the words for the theme songs. I think his sister's I think his sister's cousin got him in that or something like that. Or, oh no, his sister's best friend's cousin got him a job out there in Japan. It wasn't a permanent job, but it was part time where he worked for a couple of little low key anime places and needed somebody to write the theme songs for them. And then eventually the damn places started to use AI and shit like that. And then it just wasn't the same. But then certain people actually have morality, and they actually hire people that can write little theme songs and then make the background beats for the animes, and then make little on the anime there's certain sounds in the background. He was doing that, and he was practicing for years, and his family was calling him a loser and a failure. And then when he got that job and started to do good with it, now he's living in Japan doing his own thing because he was allowed to create. That's what I'm saying. A lot of us are pools of hidden talent, pools of hidden destinies that haven't really been fully actualized and realized because we've been surrounded by so much negativity. We've been surrounded by people with insecurity. We've been surrounded by people who've been jealous and hating on us for years. And they say, oh, you don't got this, you don't got that. But the minute you meet the right people around you, people are going to see your talent. These videos I'm making now, I used to always talk to myself just like this. Before I started making videos, I was talking to myself, and my family used to always, make fun of me. Oh, he's probably in there talking to himself, or he's talking to himself. He be talking to himself. He's crazy. He's weird. But really, what I'm saying now is exactly what I'd be saying with or out recording. There's been a lot of times where I used to be talking to myself, and I think I got that from my uncle who was a schizophrenic, because he used to do that too. He'd be talking, but he was talking to spirits or beings or demons or whatever that you can't even see. And I think I got that from him, because I used to be around my uncle a lot, and he was a schizophrenic, you know what I mean? And he smoked a lot of weed, and yeah. So when I started watching people make these type of videos, I'm like, you know what? I've been through a lot of shit in my life. Let me just start telling my little story here and there. And then I kind of blew up, and then I attracted all these random trolls who I don't even know. Had I not even made videos, these trolls wouldn't even know who I was, and I would have YouTube channels that I had for like 10 plus years still up. It's one thing to try to target my, main channel and then try to dox me and all that shit. That's extremely messed up. Like, what's his name was saying, like, you can't just give that a rest. These people who do that, they have to answer for that, right? Because you didn't do nothing to these people. These people chose to attack you. You know what I mean? You're just making videos, minding your business, and they chose to prioritize you. In this world, you could be minding your business, and people will choose to prioritize trying to take you down. You know, and then they'll try to justify it amongst themselves like it's something good. But if it would have happened to them, the tables were turned. They'll be crying and screaming, bloody murder. They'll be like, wow, how did this happen? And this, that, and the third. So you got to be very careful in this world, because when you have a talent, or when you have a destiny, or when you have something that a lot of people don't have, whether it's your ability to speak and articulate, whether it's your ability to, code or program or some type of artwork you do, there's going to be people that's going to see that and be envious of that and try to break that and try their best to break you down, because they're broken down eternally. And you live in a world like that. You live in an entire world like that, where there's a world filled with broken people because they have broken dreams and broken ambitions, and some people are just evil in their hearts. There are certain people in this world that are just created to cause us problems. People like us who are quiet and mind our business and stick to ourselves. There are certain people who are just there to try to bother us and try to take us down and try to make sure that we don't become proficient and self-sufficient. If I really wanted to, I could have went to college and got the degree and went that route and all that, but I didn't want that life. I wanted a life of freedom. I wanted to live the life. I wanted to live the life Taz Taylor has, the life Superstar O has, the life David Dobrik has. That's the life that I wanted. I want to be a creator of things that I wanted to create. The hardest thing is when you're surrounded by people who do not see your vision. They see your vision as an attack on them. They see your vision as a threat. They see your vision as, something that can't be possible, yet they never accomplish their dreams. Let me tell you something. You get around the right people that are all millionaires and they accomplish their dreams, they're going to say, oh man, $100,000 ain't nothing. And you're like, what? $100,000 is everything to me. It's because the people that you hang out with, they're not really that successful. So, of course, the impossible seems impossible. But to people that are successful, let's say if your best friend was Kai Cenat, Corey Kenshin, and Mr. Beast, Jake Paul, Moist Critical, people like that who are just ultra millionaires and they're famous and they have all their dreams accomplished. Their mindsets is different. They're used to life just bending to their will. So when you go up to them and say that's impossible, or being a millionaire is impossible, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, what, bro? I make $1 million a month or more, And if you're around people who their best job is just a regular 9 to 5, they go around, being a taxi, or they're going around just whatever the hell, or just there's nothing wrong with that if you're trying to survive, right? Everybody needs some money, right? But it's something wrong with it when you have something like that and you think you're better than somebody and you try to mistreat people and you try to shit on people. That's when it becomes wrong, because all it takes is that one person to get a spark, that one person to get an ember, that one person to get some type of advantage, and then that person can be taken off like a rocket ship, like a German rocket ship to Britain in the Battle of Britain, in World War II, right? So what I'm saying is that never let nobody try to take away your confidence, and understand that your experiences in life, it govern how you feel about yourself, how you perceive yourself, and your confidence. Because in order to have accomplishments, you need to have confidence. In order to have confidence, you need to have good, positive experiences in life. And a lot of us in this situation just don't have those good, positive experiences that we truly, truly, truly need in order to be successful. This life is hella stressful, point blank, period. But we still got to soldier on like the soldiers of dawn.